is for life. Unboxed.
Rupture disk responded, "No problem. I'm Philip Filmer from REMBE and I'm a specialist in pressure relief systems. Today I'll show you how to replace a BT ODV rupture disk. However, before we get started, we need to bear in mind a few important safety measures. As there may be sharp edges on responded rupture disks, gloves must always be worn here. Depending on the medium, it may be necessary to wear safety goggles. Helmets are mandatory in the indicated areas. In loud environments, hearing protection must be worn. Safety shoes must always be worn when working on plant components. To work on a plant safely, the process must be pressure-free. In addition, it is important to secure the main switch from being switched back on. Before starting work, the corresponding area should be secured. Ruptured disks must only be replaced by qualified employees. Depending on where they are installed, a second person may be required here. Read the corresponding operating manual before starting assembly work. We can now begin dismantling our test installation. After a quick visual inspection, we can loosen the bolts. Once the ruptured disc and holder are exposed, the complete unit can be removed. Firstly, the pre-assembly bolts are loosened. It is then important to inspect the holder very carefully. Deposits and corrosion can be removed with the help of a cleaning agent or a fine abrasive sponge. The sealing surfaces to the flange are also checked for evenness with the help of a set square. If the holder is in perfect condition, a new rupture disc can be selected in the warehouse. The new rupture disc can now be selected using the tag plate on the old rupture disc. Particular attention should be paid here to the rupture disc type, nominal diameter, burst pressure and burst temperature. Once the right rupture disc has been found, I can open the box carefully. The enclosed operating manual should always be read thoroughly. The information about the correct torque can be found on the back pages. Flange periphery, bolt size, and the selection of the gasket, for instance, are important elements for the right torque. When removing the ruptured disc, it is important that this, where possible, is only touched on the tag plate or on the outer edge. It should also be checked for possible transport damage. If the rupture disc is also in perfect condition, it can be carefully inserted into the holder. The correct installation direction can be subsequently checked using the direction arrows on the holder and tack plate of the ruptured disc. The arrows should be pointing in the same direction. To finish, the pre-assembly bolts are fixed in place. The unit can now be installed. The gaskets should also be checked beforehand. Any minor soiling or scratches can subsequently lead to leaks in the process. This gasket still looks really good, so it can be reused. The torque from the operating manual is now applied using the torque wrench. It is important to tighten the ruptured disc in 3 steps to prevent warping. To finish, it is advisable to once again check the direction arrows of the ruptured disc and holder to make sure they correspond to the process. Once this is done, the plant can be started up.